Hey, I wanted this to be a comparison between the 2017 second generation iPad Pro. This is the 12.9-inch model. You also have a 10.5-inch model if you wish. I like the bigger screen myself, so that's the one I got. This is the Samsung Tab S4, which is a 2018 model, just came out this month, which is August of, again, 18. So this is actually a brand new model versus kind of last year's iPad Pro, but the new model is not out yet. So this will be a comparison between these two devices. Pricing wise, the Samsung Tab S4 is $650 in its base model. That comes with 64 gigabytes of storage, which is expandable with the micro SD card slot. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM and a Snapdragon 835. The iPad Pro is $800 in the 12.9-inch model, but if you get the 10.5-inch model, that is only going to be $650. So they are priced the same, but Samsung also comes with S Pen. Apple charges another $100 for their Apple Pencil. 64 gigabytes of storage in base model, 4 gigabytes of RAM, Apple A10X Fusion chip. So they're pretty comparable. Of course, the two I have are just going to be different in size. But if you were to get the 10.5-inch compared to 10.5-inch, of course, screen size would be the same. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty comparable devices here. Pricing would be pretty close until you add in that $100 extra Apple Pencil, which you do not have to do if you don't want to. But Samsung again includes their S Pen for free, so to speak, with their device. Both of these are very nice screens. Both the 10.5 and the 12.9-inch models of the iPad Pro both have 264 PPI, whereas the Samsung actually has about 20 more PPI. It is at 287. Again, both the Apple and Samsung both have very, very beautiful screens. If you don't have them side by side, you will not be able to tell the difference. Both very, very nice looking. All right, so let's look at the what you get on the ports and whatnot here. So front, Samsung just has their camera, and that is actually it. There are no other buttons. But with this camera, you also have the facial recognition and iris recognition to sign into the tablet itself. Apple has the fingerprint scanner reader here. So of course you just kind of click it and it unlocks for you. So they actually still have the home button, which I actually prefer having an actual button on it. But that's my own thinking. Of course, you have your front-facing camera as well. Both front-facing cameras are very nice. Both of them work very well, especially for being tablets. All right, let's go over the Samsung first here. So besides from the front, so again, you get the S Pen here with it. It is included. It has one button here. And that's really about the only thing that's on here. One thing I would like to mention is, unless you get the keyboard with this, which I did not, it's another $150. This does not connect onto tablet anywhere, so you gotta kind of hold onto it and hope you do not lose it, which is kind of annoying, but that's how it is. And I believe if you get the $150 keyboard there, it actually connects into the keyboard somewhere. Again, do not have it though. Apple's keyboard is also about 150 bucks. All right, so bottom of the device here. Hopefully you guys can somewhat see this, but there is speakers here and here. Then you also have the headphone jack here, and the the USB-C, excuse me, USB-C here. On the top, you have speaker and speaker, so it is quad speaker, just like the Apple has quad speakers as well. Get more into that later. You also have a microphone there. Alright, then the right side of this has your power button, your volume rocker, and there might be a couple mics here. I believe is what these two holes are, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Then the other side has for your keyboard connection, and that is it for the Samsung S4 keyboard. Alright, then moving on to the Apple. So the bottom here, this might be actually a bit easier to see. You have, again, quad speakers, so you have 1 and 2, and there's 2 more on the top. Then you have your lightning adapter there. On your right side, there is really almost nothing except for the volume rocker. And then you have your power button and 2 more speakers along with your mic on the top. And then your other side again has, just like the Samsung, has your keyboard connector there. Then both of these do of course have back facing cameras. I will say right now that the iPad is a little bit better than the Samsung. This also has quad LED flash, which is really cool. Right, and then show the Samsung here real fast. Again, you have the rear camera, but this only has, as far as I know, it's only one LED. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is only one. But again, very good looking camera, shoots very well. But the Apple is a little bit better in my opinion. Alright, now let's get into the actual devices themselves. Alright, so I turned up both of these up to the brightest setting, or brightest setting here. This is using the adaptive display, the Samsung adaptive display. And hopefully you guys can see here, but I actually turned off True Tone. I personally don't like it too much. If you're in a dark setting, to me it makes everything just not look as good, especially if you compare it to the Samsung. So to me, this is a better comparison for picture quality wise. Just makes, to me, these are just a bit more comparable with that off, the True Tone off, and then the adaptive actually on the Samsung. To me, these are the way they're going to look the best. But again, that's my own opinion. You guys can do whatever you want, of course. Alright, so again, both of these have 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Has A10X Fusion chip, and this has the Snapdragon 835. Both of these are very fast. They're very fast. They're very comparable again. Of course, Apple has the Apple App Store. Samsung is using Android's Play Store, of course. So, of course, you can get many apps on either device. But, of course, Apple is supposed to have a bit of a better app store than Samsung or Android. But, I mean, that's, again, kind of your own opinion or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of a real-world speed test here, comparison here. I'm going to use both of their stocks internet. They are both connected to my home Wi-Fi, which is exactly the same. Both of these have nothing else running. As you can see there, both of these have Bluetooth off. You can see there it's off, and there it is off. Again, connected to the same Wi-Fi. Again, none of them have, both of these do not have anything running. I'm going to use the stock Samsung internet and the stock Safari. So for both of these devices, because that's what they kind of come with. Samsung also includes the Google Chrome, which might actually be a bit faster. But I'm going to use Samsung's own internet browser, just like Apple uses their own internet browser, which of course is Safari. So I'm going to go to just a couple websites here, just to illustrate their speeds. First, we'll go to Pokemon.com. To me, this is a very good comparison website because it has a bunch of stuff to load. Then we'll make sure that both of these are using, not in their desktop sites, which they are not. Because, of course, mobile versus desktop is going to make a difference as well on speed. So let's go to, again, Pokemon. Both of these browsing histories have been cleared. I actually just cleared them right before this. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. And Apple wins. Samsung is for some reason taking a lot longer than normal. So that was kind of weird. Usually they're pretty much close right on each other. But you can see here too, for some reason Apple does the desktop site, whereas Samsung does not. You see it's still saying desktop site, where this one actually is on the desktop site. It's kind of weird. Alright, so we'll just click on that. And I think Apple won that again. Yeah. Alright, let's go to YouTube real fast. and this always asks if you want to open up YouTube. So that actually kind of delays the speed. If it did not have that, they would be pretty much identical. So both of these are not on desktop site, so we can do that real fast. So you just hit the button up there and then hit request desktop site. And this guy, we scroll on over to request desktop site. Hopefully I can do this decently. And Samsung won that one. So you'll see Samsung wins some and loses others. Apple wins some and loses others. Again, they're both very fast. One annoying thing about the Samsung, and I think it's just Android in general, is it does this stupid zoom in thing, which I've always hated. So we were to zoom in first and then hit that again. We just hit 4K. I do like 4K videos. And there we go. See, both loaded very fast. And get rid of the keyboards on both. I hit the right buttons there. Alright, then we'll choose a video here. We'll turn down the volume real fast. If I hit the correct button, or the correct side of the button there. I will say that Apple makes it a little bit easier because they do have a tiny bit of a divide between the volume up and down. And maybe you guys can see this, hopefully. For some reason, this is not playing in 720. It's only doing 360. It's not doing in HD. Again, when you're on the browser itself, you can only do 720. Of course, that will not work. And this says, and of course, I hit the wrong thing there because it's very hard. It's kind of weird as it says auto 1080. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says auto 1080. But then when you hit it, you can only do 720. Don't really understand that one. Alright, so we are going to go back to the very beginning here. And I'm going to try to hit them both at the same time the best that I can. And of course I messed that up. But anyway, we're just going to do a quick. You can see they're both very fast. Both very close to each other. So we'll turn the volume real fast here. Do a quick volume test. One more thing I'd like to know is when you're on the browser, you cannot actually make it go full screen, but you can do the studio screen or whatever. I keep hitting the wrong things. It's kind of hard. Alright, so I scroll through there a little bit. Now we'll turn up the Samsung's volume. Alright, so Apple definitely wins with the sound quality. They're both good, don't get me wrong, but Apple does win with that. Samsung just isn't as loud. Apple has a lot more bass. At least on the 12.9, on 10.5, I'm not sure. I do not have that model, so I'm sorry I cannot compare that one. I know that'd be a bit more of a fair comparison for that, but I do not have that device, so I can't really show you guys that one. Alright, so we will go to Bing here. And here. Both pretty much the same. We'll hit HD pick. All right. So we'll hit Let's see. Let's hit one of these pictures here. There's actually a Pokeball. That's actually really cool. For some reason, they do not bring up the same exact pictures. I don't really understand it, but we'll just hit the one that is the same here. Apple definitely won that one. Oh, no. Oh, they're both kind of still loading. Actually, Samsung won that one. And there you go. There's a green eye. And again, Samsung definitely won that one. On picture quality, I would say Samsung is better. Again, both these are very good. Samsung's blacks are extremely black. Whites are extremely white. Colors just pop like crazy. Um, Apple, the colors still pop, but hopefully, I don't know if you guys can see this in this video, but hopefully you can. Apple is still good, but it's definitely not as good as the Samsung. At least that's my opinion here. The green is just a crazy vibrant green. This is actually a little bit faded, I guess you could say, green. Again, the black, like in the iris here, or the eye, the pupil, not iris, pupil, is extremely black. The eyelashes are extremely black. Again, on here, they're actually a bit kind of faded, if that makes sense, kind of washed out, I guess. It's just, this is just a bit of a better picture, in my opinion. And you'll notice that in videos and everything else too, that when they're side by side, at least, that the blacks and the whites on the Samsung are just extremely black and white, and the colors just pop out like crazy. So I'm gonna find another picture here, and I'll be right back. Alright, so here is a just black and white picture. I don't know if you guys can actually tell this in the video, but again, Samsung's blacks are just pretty much pitch black. Whites are very nice and bright. Again, Apple is still very, very good. It's just not as good as Samsung. Again, if we did not have these side by side, you wouldn't even be able to tell. And actually, looking at my camera right now, it looks like the Samsung is actually a bit worse. But in real life, I would say Samsung is a bit better. But again, both screens are very, very good, very, very amazing looking. So I mean, it wouldn't really be a deciding factor between these two devices, because they're both, again, very, very good. Alright, next I'll just do a little bit of gaming here. Of course, both these can game very well. I just have a simple game of Temple Run. I know YouTubers used to use this game a lot. I don't know if they still do or not for comparisons, but we're just going to use it anyway. And for some reason it's doing that. Alright, so we'll hit play. And both the volumes are still on here. But the Apple just completely outsounds the Samsung. I can't really hear the Samsung, but I can hear the Apple. And you see they're both running very well again. I don't think this is the most extreme game, but you can see that they do handle gaming as well. And we'll go to main menu here. So again, I mean, there's not really much of a difference between these two devices as terms of gaming goes. This is not one to work. All right. So let's go back on the internet real fast. I should have done one more thing here. So we'll hit that real fast, and we will hit in a really good games website here, which is Warframe, and we'll just show you which one loads faster here. Right, so, and actually Samsung won that. So like I said, Samsung wins some, and actually it has the motions going too. For some reason, this doesn't. So Samsung wins some and actually loses others. But again, both of these are very good devices. I think what's really going to come down to most people's decisions, especially when you compare the 10.5 versus the 10.5, is your brand preference. I personally like both Samsung and Apple. I actually have a MacBook Air and a Samsung Note 8. So I like both brands. I think that's really what it's going to come down to, is your own personal preference on brand, because hopefully this somewhat helped demonstrate that they're both very similar. I mean, one might be a split of a second faster doing one thing, but then the other will be split of a second faster doing the other thing. Both screens are very good. Sound is very good. But I mean, if you are going to be, if you do need sound to be the best, the Apple Pro, at least the iPad Pro 12.9 at least, is going to beat the Samsung. That is one mark where I will say Apple definitely wins, is on the sound. Samsung is good, but it's nowhere near as good as the Apple. So go over a few things here. So sound, Apple definitely wins. Picture quality, I would actually say Samsung, but just by a smidge. I do mean just a smidge here. Brightness are both very bright. I believe you could take these both outside on a bright day, turn on the brightness up all the way, and you'd be good on either of them. Apps, Apple is going to win because I know there are more apps, or at least people say. For me personally, though, Samsung or Android has all the apps I need, just like, of course, Apple does as well. Video quality, again, both of these are very good. But actually, when you go to YouTube, we'll do this one last thing here. Go into YouTube here. This will do higher quality videos. And also, it's also a bit weird on the Apple, the way that it displays videos. But again, both of these are very good, and personally, I cannot really tell the difference between even, say, 1080p and 4K. But that might just be my eyes, I don't know. Accessories, of course, both these do have a lot of accessories, but Samsung comes with the S Pen for free for like $650, whereas Apple, you need to pay another $100. No matter which model you get. Yeah, so you do need to pay the extra money for it.
Hurry into the Ford Summer Sales Event to find great offers.
Sorry about that. I should have turned on the volume first. Just want to show off these blacks again. This, you can see more of the color, the LEDs coming through a screen, where this just looks black. It looks like it's actually almost turned off. Just another quick note there. I'm actually on YouTube video. So this is a 4K video. So I'm just going to show. This video. Whoa, that's very bright on camera. There we go. Sorry about that. So it's 1440p. Apple will do 1080. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure someone will say this, if that is actually 4K or not. I believe that's only 2K. It has the pretty much has a 4K display as far as I know. I believe it's going to do up to 2K. But again, this is going to do 1080. But there is that. So I'm just going to push play on both of these, and we'll talk a little bit more, and then this video will end. So I turned off the volume as well. So you can see these giant black bars here on the top of the iPad. Again, I don't know if the 10.5 inch does this, but I'm going to guess it does. This has a lot smaller black bars. It's probably about a third of what these are, if that even. But of course, at least between these two models, you can fit this entire screen into that, into what you can actually see on the video. So size-wise, they're probably pretty much the same. Just this does have the annoying black bars that are bigger than this guy. All right, so one more point. Just go over the points again. I know, sorry that this is a long video. Hopefully, this will be somewhat helpful. So accessory-wise, both of these you can get the keyboards with. But again, Samsung does come with the S Pen, whereas Apple, you need to pay another $100 for, which to me is a definite win for Samsung over Apple. I don't know what just happened there. I think I hit the power button. But of course, with you go with Microsoft's Surface Pros, you also need to. Now you guys know my password. You also need to spend extra money for this thing anyway. So Samsung is really the only one that does that, where it includes it in their price. But that is one thing to note, that the Apple Pencil is another $100. So even with the 10.5-inch model of the Apple, if you get the Apple Pencil, it is going to be $750 compared to $650. Storage again, base models, you got 64 or 64 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM on either. Apple has the A10X Fusion, Samsung has 735. Now Samsung is the S4 is the 2018 model. Apple is a 2017 model. Displays are both very nice. Again, Samsung does have 20 more PPI versus either the Apple iPad Pro 10.5 or the 12.9. Either way, you are going to get a bit more, about 20 more PPI per resolution on the Samsung here. Performance, you see one beats the other on some things and then vice versa on other things. Both are very fast. Both these can run multiple things at once. You can do gaming on either of these. Picture quality, I would have to give it to Samsung, but again, Apple is very, very close. And it's kind of more up in the wind than anything, but I'd say Samsung wins by a little bit. Sound quality, Apple definitely wins this one. The bass is just so bassy. It just sounds so much better than the Samsung. But again, Samsung does not sound horrible. It's just not as good as the Apple. Let's see. Camera wise, I didn't show off any videos of this. I'm sorry, I don't know how to incorporate that into this video. But Apple definitely does win with picture quality wise. Again, not to say that Samsung's bad. It's just not as good as Apple. Apple is just a really good camera on it. Samsung it's a really good camera too, just not as good. I say this is a very good camera. This is just good camera. But again, both would be good for taking pictures if you do that, or videos like I'm gonna probably use them for to do videos with. Let's see what else to talk about. Winner is, I would say, is up to you. I really don't know which one I like better than the other. Because I mean they're both again very, very good. Uh, yeah, so I mean I think it kind of comes down to, do you like Samsung or do you like Apple better? Are you okay? You could say, because I know a lot of people were complaining about this. Are you okay with spending $650 on the Samsung, even though it has last year's Snapdragon 835, and some people were saying that it should have at least 6 gigabytes of RAM. But again, compared to the Apple, that only has 4 gigabytes, just like the Samsung. So yeah, it really comes down to your own personal preference, I would say. I really cannot recommend one over the other. And yeah, alright, sorry that was so long. Hopefully this will be somewhat helpful to somebody. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys have a good one. Yeah, please leave me a comment on what you think about my video. Just don't be too mean. Thank you guys. See you all next time. Goodbye.